tonight. Lamar. All right, you guys. So tonight I mentioned a little bit in the video today that I wanted to just bring a little different fire tonight. I was just thinking about this call. Like when I think about stuff, I try to line everything up a little bit, right? Our last several calls, if you go even look back, you can kind of see how they kind of flow one into the next, into the next. And sometimes you just got to break the flow, even though I think it'll end up connecting anyway. But man, I was really fired up these last few days. And I went back in some of my own thinking instead of some of my own storyline, I should maybe say. And I thought about, what Run to Gun, like what are the program is really about. And you guys probably had all seen like my Live Beyond Average, right? It's on the logo when you guys hit the app and you see the Live Beyond Average. It's like, man, I was really thinking about that statement for the last week on where that came from. And so that came from, we were filming a TV show back in like 2012 to 2019 ish. Me and my brother filmed and produced a show called Run to Gun TV. And we showed how we trained and got in shape for big outdoor adventures and hunts and things like that. And so throughout all of that, when you're starting it off, you're really trying to find your own self and you're trying to create your own path. And we were really doing it from nothing. And every year we kind of have this little mantra. And in season 4, that mantra just like out of nowhere, we were working out and training, and this Live Beyond Average statement came out of our mouth. And it was like we thought it was just going to be this mantra for season 4. And this was in like 2015 or 16, somewhere around in there. And that became the mantra that stuck to our business, was that Live Beyond Average. And why, I was literally thinking about this, like, why was this? And I even went back and I watched some of this old footage the last few days. And I watched like the season 1 through 3 footage. And I was like, man, you could tell we were young and we were trying to find ourselves and we were trying to really figure out what we were. And it wasn't that it was inauthentic. You could just tell we were navigating it. But then season 4 hits and I'm looking through some of this footage and it's like, bro, we then knew who we were. Like there was a confidence that was carried all of a sudden randomly in that season of filming. And that Live Beyond Average really came out. And so I was really thinking about, man, when we start to embody what we believe, we start to become our authentic self. And every one of you guys know that I believe that our lives is much more than just our workout plan and our nutrition, but it is part of our gateway to open up some deeper thinking. Richard's been a prime example of this too, man. This last month, like when me and Richard started, like you should have saw the messages I got from this dude. It was a lot, bro. Richard, like, you're just breaking some things off of you. And within a month, it was just like, I'm talking to you. And I'm like, this isn't the same guy. It was beautiful. I mean, it was just one of those things like when and it was just the gateway. Just like doing some new things, some training, nutrition, like it's this gateway. And so when we start, it just opens up this way for us to become our authentic selves and really start to embody what we believe. Because oftentimes we can believe things, but what we say doesn't always line up with that. And so when we have this opportunity to start really embodying our belief, special things really start to happen in our life. And beliefs, it doesn't always happen fast, right? Like you don't always have to think about but when you do start to believe these things, like you kind of stop thinking about them. Like I haven't really thought about this Live Beyond Average statement in years, and it's on my logo that I see every single day. But it's one of those things like you start to embody it and you don't have to think about it as much. But then I find myself here in this last week going back and being like, man, I need to bring this back into the forefront of not just my own life, but the culture of the people that are in my life, you guys. And by re-pulling that out and reestablishing some of that baseline things of why even I do what I do to help you guys do what you guys do. Because each one of you are special in the way of what you're doing. And so it's not one of those things where like, hey, we just have to copy the guy that maybe we're looking up to or our mentor or whatever, but it's the freedom for you to hear something or see something and then go be like, okay, I have permission to go into my thing. Like I have the permission to go be great in the thing that I'm supposed to be great in. And you can start embodying your thing because every one of you has your thing already laid out in your heart for you. Yeah. So it's really about, man, getting into your own lived experience. And so what does live beyond average really mean then? And that's for you to really answer. That's for you to think about now. It's like, okay, what does live beyond average mean for me? Like I don't have to actually answer that for you. That's for you. And so let's take that this week.
What else are you gonna do?
Average
I'm
really
not gonna do a massage.
and so really be soaking that piece in. Okay.
Be on average.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going back to the forefront of those things. So people should really, as we're going into that, I heard this statement at one point that was like, I think it might have been like an Alex Hormozy quote or something where he was talking. He's like, man, like people really, and he really is like work. Like he's helping people grow their businesses, that kind of stuff. And so he gets a lot of flack on like people don't understand how I live my life. And so they like to project their insecurities on like, how do you live like that? And those things. And he's like, but I look at their lives and I'm like, I don't want to live like that. And so it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, okay, like your life shouldn't even come close to looking like what a lot of people might look at you and be like, I don't understand this guy. And that's a good thing. Like, because that's you being into your authenticity. And that's you being comfortable with how you were made and how you are and just continuing to not stop where you're at. It's easy to just be like, man, like, okay, I learned enough. I'm good. I can kind of carry on. But that's when we stop growing. That's when like nothing else continues to happen. And so your life should really start to look and not be understandable to some people, not necessarily in a bad way, but in a way that they look into your life and they go, why is he like that? Why is she like that? Or I want to know what she's doing. I want to know what this dude is doing. It builds a curiosity around your life, and they start becoming curious. And that can happen with your spouse. That can happen with your son and daughter. That can happen. Those things like when they start seeing those things, of like, man, why did dad start becoming way more patient? Like, why did my fiance all of a sudden start like listening and like hearing me better? And those things really start happening. So it really doesn't necessarily happen on this grandiose scale of things, but it happens with the finite people around you. It happens to those closest people. Those are the true people anyway that are going to start seeing it. That's the challenging part because those are the people you're going to rub wrong in some ways, and it's going to be challenging. But just be patient with that and continue to let it grow. Because remember, you can't stop your growth because somebody else is uncomfortable with the way that you're growing. Because in the long run, remember, we're thinking foresight. 2 weeks call was about forward thinking. All of that takes patience. All of your growth takes time. And so if we go into this with forward thinking, there's the tie-in, then we know that even when we have the conflicts, we have the confrontations in front of us, that we can trust that in the long run, things are going to come full circle and they're going to be good. Okay, so be patient with that. And so what does it really look like to live beyond average? What does it really look like for you? Again, a question for you, but something that I think about is living beyond average is finishing everything. It's literally finishing everything. And finishing everything takes foresight, because finishing everything sometimes takes a long time, and allowing things to come all the way around and having a trust and a faith that this is taking some time. And I'm not just talking with weight loss, just read between the lines on this in your life, in everything. It takes time. So be patient. And people always love to give up right before the things that they always wanted are about to happen to them. I'll say that one more time. People almost always give up right before everything that they wanted is about to be given to them. I lived this, and it was the biggest slap in the face. It hurt. I dreamed about college basketball, and I went and played college basketball, got a scholarship, and I worked my butt off for a couple of years, and I was right there. I was getting playing time. I wanted to start. I was right there. And the tension was too big for me after a couple of years, and I was so sick and tired of it. And I could not take the tension anymore. And I decided, I'm going to switch my scholarship over. There was a track scholarship open. I was a fast sprinter, and I switched it over, and I went and ran track instead of played basketball. But basketball was the thing that I loved. And the next year, I went to a home game because I obviously still know all the basketball guys. And the guy that was playing shooting guard in front of me, who even when he was in front of me, he was not better than me. He was sitting on the bench finally. And the kid that was below me in the shooting guard position, who wasn't even close to me, was starting. And I had to sit there and watch that game and go, shit.
That could have been me.
It hurt so bad in that moment. And obviously, I'm a 20-year-old kid, so it really hurts. Obviously you dream, but it came full circle in that moment of like, if I could have just withstood the tension a little longer. And so I've used that as a really good lesson in my life and carried that with me throughout business and relationships here of like, bro, the longer I can stand in the tension, the bigger the success will be. The longer I can stand in that tension, the bigger the success will be. And everything, even in nature, proves this. How are pearls made? How is diamonds made? It's all through lengthy tension. Very, very lengthy tension. And so as you're going through all of that, just be reminded, like, the tension's good. I can stay in this tension. It's good. Great things are going to come from it. Because, you guys, here's the last thing of that. Because nothing ends. It doesn't end. You just figure out the next thing to go do. And so if you quit, you're just going on to the next thing, but nothing really ever ended. And so just remember that you're just delaying something else. You're just going to start something else, and it starts a new delay. And so just stay in the tension and keep going through that. Great, wonderful things are going to happen. So just because it looks impossible does not mean we don't go pursue it. In fact, that's where all the character is built. That's where all the greatness happens, is right there, is when we pursue the things that seem impossible. And so I just, again, dream. Like, that's been on me for the last year and a half, is what is it like to dream again? Go dream again. Wild things. And when you dream something, 10x it, and then 10x the 10x. If it's not that wild, you're not dreaming yet. You're just having a few thoughts. And I say that to myself. So I'm not just saying it to you. I'm saying it to myself, because I have to continue to do this to myself too. I do not say things that I have not gone through myself or am working through myself. And so I want you guys to know that as well. And so, dudes, that is tonight's VIP coaching call. There was a lot in that. I recorded this so we could go back in and dive deep and dig. I love the conversations that are being had from this too. Every single time after the call, I'm getting messages where it's just like a little more conversation is happening from that. So over the next 2 weeks, definitely chewing on a few things when I check in with you, or when you're having some thoughts during a workout or an epiphany randomly, drop me a message, because I love it. The more conversation that happens, I want growth for you outside of your muscles. In fact, more so. But I love the muscles too. So let's do that as well.
Yes, sir.
Because they're not separate. That's the thing, is like, I really want to bridge that gap. It's not separate. We like to live life in these separate things where it's just like, okay, this is over here. Like, physical's over here, spiritual's over here, or muscles over here, and this is over here. It's like, there's no separation in anything. It's all connected. So let's just keep rocking it, connecting it, and just being patient with it all. That makes sense tonight, guys? 17 minutes. I went 2 minutes over. That's pretty solid, though. Pretty solid. Okay, you guys. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your Wednesday night. I look forward to talking with you guys soon. Let's crush the rest of our week and live beyond average. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Okay, man.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.